Why is everyone wearing masks? Did something happen? Live. You guys are scaring me. Are we going in for surgery or something? Anyway. It's not working.
Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs.
Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. I wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they sip with pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deal. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Took the way you saw the world and distorted it, and now you think you want a rocket twirl somewhere orbiting. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick with a forceful grip, the force of misinfo that we absorb and quit. Took the people's signature, that mean extorted it, they forging it. If using is informants, who informing them? There's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this: reporting ships, important gifts. Of course it is exactly what extortion is. Foreign tricks, ignoring what's informant this, informant this. It looked like we were snoring tricked. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. And Phil, that's what Israel. Wonder, is it real? Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Why is everyone wearing masks a year and a half after they said that we only had to do it for 2 weeks? Hey. Why are you guys wearing masks? Something happened? Jeez Louise. So when did the government give us curfews and lockdowns? Thank you, man. Thank you for breathing oxygen, my man. Hey, we checked the air, everyone. It's okay. It's still good. There you go, brother. Chill out. Sorry about the delay, Chad. I couldn't hear the beat, so I was literally just trying to remember the rhythm. In a world. Alright, we're gonna do a little activism here. Then we're gonna hit the game. Hit the game. So anyways, did you guys know the government doesn't give us right to breathe oxygen or tell us what time we're allowed to hang out? That's what communist governments do. Isn't it crazy that China and North Korea agree with how we've handled the pandemic? I guess we get along with communist governments now. Oh. Just wear their masks for 2 weeks and we'll get back to normal. And that was a year and a half ago. Actually, 18 months ago. You guys don't realize what's going on yet? I can't get specific because YouTube will kick me off. That's how you know they're not hiding anything. Let's just say don't take experimental medicine from strangers. Yeah. So anyway, there's something called a Declaration of Independence. It says we get our rights from the Creator. The Constitution is us writing down those rights we have. So simply it means you inherently are born with rights that no one can take from you. The Constitution is not a list of rules that the government says we're allowed to do. It's a list of rights that we say the government can never stop us from doing. I think that breathing might be covered in that. I don't think the government gives us the right to stay alive. Did you know that breathing's how you stay alive? Very profound. You breathe something called oxygen, that's in something called the air, and you have something called lungs. Why are you guys scared of the air? This is psychopathic behavior. You may need to get checked out. Oh man, I got my shoes, I got my keys, I got my wallet. Where's my mask? And then people would get designer masks. I got that slave drip, son. Are you guys going to stand up, or are you just going to watch the children be born into a slave state where my friends died and slowly bled out overseas, even though it's probably for a war that was orchestrated because some country decided to have the audacity to not have a central banking system? So are you guys just going to give the rights up? Curfew curfews and lockdowns where children think it's normal to be scared of the air and to only be able to hang out to a certain time because the government said so. Daddy government said you better go in. How exciting, the government let us hang out tonight. Just wait till it cools off a little bit. Back to lockdowns. You know who else has lockdowns? Prisons. Yeah, that's right. You get to come out of your cell and chill in the pod, and you have a curfew, and you have to go back in your cell for lockdown. They didn't even hide the words. You know who else used to be forced to wear masks? Slaves. It's symbolic of the end of your free speech. All they have to do to know who blindly obeys the government is to look and see who is scared of the air. So you guys will probably wake up. I can't get too specific, but they're going to rush out a digital tracking system. It's been written about for decades. So you're going to fill out this paper, it's going to get faked. And we're like, we need a new system that can't be faked and encrypted. Roll out a digital tracking system. It's the charger. Digital tracking system. So now you know what's going to happen. Spoiler alert. So are you guys going to stand by while we turn into modern Nazi Germany, allegedly? Where instead of papers, please, it's QR code, please. Because it's coming. It's actually already in France. It's already in numerous countries where you can't go into a restaurant unless you've, participated in their experiment. And then you pull your QR code out. You have to scan it to get into the restaurant. You're not allowed in. And then the cops periodically come by and check it. Yeah. We need to stand up before that happens, don't we? You guys should stand up for your rights that you've taken for granted. See, this right that I'm using right now is called the First Amendment. And as I go around the United States, because we're on tour, as we watch America crumble, I get converged on by cops typically, trying to scare me away from my First Amendment. So we're losing every right. And once you lose the second one, which is the right to bear arms, you lose all of them. That's the one that protects all of them. What did you say? You're going to bring up the flat earth now. You actually have a magnetic field that's toroidal, more like donut, but it's over top of a flat earth. Yeah, I tested it for 5 years. They definitely lied about the earth, bro. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but... Yeah. Yeah. It's like the only thing I could find in TJ Maxx that was wearable. Hey, you don't gotta wear that mask, bro. Yeah. Earth is flat. That's a fat. All fat. Alright, so anyway, he brought up the next subject, which triggers people. But anyway, the longer that you continue to wear the mask every single day, then the longer they're going to keep the rules in place. Right, this is a free country.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What's your name, boss?
I don't have to give you my name.
My name's Lee. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What else you got?
What else I got? We don't have to have curfews. The government doesn't give us the right to hang out. We don't have lockdowns. That's what prisons have. We have lungs. They breathe oxygen. The government doesn't give us the right to breathe oxygen. Yeah, that's about it. You want to hear something else that you're really going to not be able to handle?
Yeah.
They lied about the earth. It's actually not a spinning ball. It's flat and doesn't move. It is for real. I know it sounds crazy. I'm sorry. I thought it was crazy too. I was like, how have we devolved to such an extent that people think the earth is flat? You know, we saw mountains from 273 miles away, and based on the globe earth math, they should have been blocked by 3 miles of earth curvature. How's that work? It doesn't work. It's impossible. Impossible. The earth is not a ball. I saw mountains 273 miles away. Okay. 9/11. I just said everything they said's a lie. They said that planes hit a building and then a paper passport popped out of explosion and then fired burnt steel beams and made it free fall. Then the paper passport floated down to ground zero and showed us where the bad guy was. And the day before 9/11, they came out and admitted that $2.1 trillion of taxpayer money was mysteriously missing. The very area of the Pentagon that was documented is the next place that got hit by the plane, so they lost all the evidence of it. Then they said there's weapons of mass destruction. Oh, never mind. No, there's not. But we'll stay over there for 13 more years anyway.
Wait, so you agree that the war in the Middle East was like totally just like money arms race bullshit?
Absolutely, tons of
For
stuff.
sure, bro.
Money laundering, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Yep. And then they passed the Patriot Act.
Bro, that's based as shit, bro. Keep preaching your message.
Yeah, much love, bro. They passed the Patriot Act, which is actually funny. It's just now coming into play. ABC News just put out domestic terrorist list. Constitutionalists, those that like to breathe oxygen. Anyone that questions the official narrative right now is a domestic terrorist. The Patriot Act says that you can just come take someone that's a domestic terrorist. So if you believe in the Constitution in America, you're a domestic terrorist. Thank you, Patriot Act, after 9/11. We're so free. What would I do without the government? The government loves me. They lied about the Vietnam War and 9/11 and the Tuskegee experiment and World War II and the fact the CIA sold more drugs than anyone else in the history of mankind. But outside of that, the government would never lie. They love me. Did you guys know the mainstream news is run by the CIA?
Get it.
Take it up with the CIA, bro. That's what they say. So when you watch CNN or Fox News or ABC or NBC, you're actually watching the CIA. It's called Operation Mockingbird, declassified since 1972, or at least that's when it was drafted. It's over 600 pages, and it says the CIA infiltrated mainstream media to control the public narrative for national security purposes. So then they interrogated the CIA representative and he said, wait, are you saying the news anchors are CIA agents? And the CIA representative said, we need to continue this conversation behind closed doors. You're watching the CIA every morning, ladies and gentlemen. What's up? What I got about what? The mainstream news is run by the CIA. All the mainstream channels. So ABC, NBC, Fox News, CNN, you name it. The CIA. That's what they said. Why'd they say they do it then? The CIA. Yeah, it's called Operation Mockingbird. It's declassified. That's a good question. Very powerful elite families seem to run our government, but doesn't matter. CIA admitted that they run the news. Operation Mockingbird. Have you ever read it? You have not read it. Okay, what's it say? I know, I'm about to go to the game. Alright, anyway, you didn't read it because it literally says that the CIA took over the mainstream media and they were even interrogated about it. They're behind a lot of wars and they traffic more drugs than anybody else, and that's also declassified. So, okay. Probably the CIA. They do everything. Yeah. Well, it's not paranoia. It's just I don't watch the CIA tell me what to wear every day. Now everyone turns on the news is like, what time can I go out? Where am I allowed to hang out? What's the new rules? What can I wear? And it's actually the CIA. The news does. The news says new mask mandate. The news says you can no longer go indoor venues. Now you have to wear this. Now you're allowed 11 o'clock curfew for Reno, or whatever it is. It's the government. Yeah, that's what prisons have, curfews and whatnot. I can't talk about it because I got kicked off YouTube. I agree with you on that stuff, but I can't talk about it. Well, I'm just letting people know they all watch the news every day. It's important for them to know that they're actually watching the government agents tell them what to do. Like, that's what they said, you know. The FBI is super corrupt as well. Yeah. Now it's just fake, my man. They see $60 million a day to lie. Everything I'm saying is right. Oh, check him out. So, yeah. What? Yeah, 3,959 mile radius. No, the radius is 3,959. Just under 8,000. Yeah. They lied about the Earth's not a spinning ball. Did you know the Earth's not a spinning ball, bro?
Hey, let me roast some people. Come by. Let me roast them.
Alright, depends. You can't say anything too crazy because YouTube will kick me off.
Yeah. You live?
Yeah.
Oh shit, we live, baby. Oh, we live. Reno, Nevada, baby.
Yeah.
We live. What's good?
I don't believe the Earth is flat. You can prove it.
You are awesome.
Yeah, the Earth is flat, bro. Yeah. I try to ease people into it. I don't like triggers them.
Wow.
You think? Hey,
You're awesome. You're awesome. I guess if that shit.
you think that NASA would ever lie? It's the government, bro.
You with them? Yep.
It's the government.
Record
NASA's the
live.
government.
Knock Blue Horse right here.
How do you
We
have
live,
air bubbles in
baby.
space?
Akhenaten and Blue Horse. Look me up. Yep.
Yeah. The ISS spacewalk, they had air bubbles coming out of their helmets. How's that work? In a vacuum. Why are there bubbles? Weirdos. Why'd they drop stuff on the ISS if they're supposedly in zero gravity? Why'd stuff fall down? This is getting awkward. How come their hands glitch through microphones and coffee cups and lemons on the ISS? How's that work? How come NASA admits there's not real pictures of the Earth from space anymore, they're just cartoons? How come NASA says they're all composite generated images and photoshopped? This is awkward. I guess if we're going to believe in cartoons, is Dora the Explorer real? What about Superman? NASA says we don't have real pictures of the Earth from space, bro. You guys Google pictures of the Earth from space and you're like, this is where I live. NASA says that's not a real picture, bro. You're making this weird. The Earth is flat, don't make this weird. We tested it. The government came out and censored it. You can see mountains from 300 miles away. Impossible on a globe Earth should have been blocked by 3 miles of Earth curvature. You can see the skyline of Chicago across Lake Michigan from 60 miles away. Globe Earth mass said to be completely blocked by Earth curvature. We've seen mountains from 103 miles away, 212 miles away, 255 miles away. All impossible on a globe Earth. 70% of the surface of the Earth is water. Fluid statics says water always finds its level, which is why it's called sea level, which is why we put fluid in levels to build things, because it's always going to find its level. How is 70% of the surface of the Earth ocean water that's flat on a ball? How do you have gas pressure sitting next to a vacuum? Why wouldn't the gas pressure fill the vacuum? It's called the second law of thermodynamics. It's literally impossible. Dun dun dun. Did you know that supposedly Nazis took us to the moon in 1969? Do you know that a Nazi did that? Operation Paperclip. We brought Nazis over here. It's declassified. Werner von Braun, an SS officer of the Nazi regime, is the one that supposedly took us to the moon. Do you believe in fairy tales in black and white and movies from Nazis? No, Nazis would never lie. We're going to go with the official narrative of Nazis. Yeah. So we saw mountains from 273 miles away, and based on the globe Earth math, it should have been obstructed by 3 miles of Earth curvature. Yeah, you could see the mountains. That's impossible on a globe Earth. We saw mountains from 255 miles away, 102 miles away, 212 miles away. So Chicago skyline across Lake Michigan from 60 miles away, globe Earth says should be completely blocked. We've never been back to the moon since 1969. They said they destroyed the technology that got us there, and it's a painful process to build it back.
What drugs are you doing?
I'm completely sober.
You're not sober.
Yeah.
There's no way you're sober.
I debate aerospace engineers and astrophysicists on it. Second law of thermodynamics necessitates pressure will fill the available space. You can have a pressurized system adjacent to a near perfect vacuum between the negative 17 torque. Must mean I'm dumb. I'm probably dumb. In a world where no one knows anything about the globe Earth, they think I'm stupid because I know every single thing about it and tested it and proved it wasn't real. The government would never lie. The government told me the Earth's a ball. They would never lie. The government loves me. I can't hear you, man. If the government said it, it has to be true. Makes more sense than the second law of thermodynamics. Alright, we should go to the game in a sec. Let me check the score. Look, I know it's a big red pill. It sounds crazy. It sounds stupid when you hear that the Earth could be flat. I agree. Whatever. No one cares about your opinion. Truth is independent of opinion or what makes you uncomfortable. It's probably uncomfortable to admit that the government lied about 9/11 and started a war for over 2 decades, isn't it? Well, the fact that you don't like that they did that doesn't mean they didn't do that. Government always lies. I measure the surface and falsify the radius. The Earth. Dude, it's always the low IQ people that call us dumb. Watch this. I'll give you $100 if you can get 3 questions right. I'll give you both $100 if you can get 3 questions right. Nope, never will happen. Okay. So, hey, hypothetically, if someone has a genius IQ and you call them a stupid MF, does that make them stupid? Yeah, let me just throw my IQ out the window. This guy called me names. So anyway, I know it sounds crazy, but it's just the truth. You can't see mountains from 273 miles away. The globe Earth says there has to be a curvature rate of roughly 7.98 inches per mile squared. So look it up. There should be an 8 inch per mile squared curvature rate on the Earth that's not there. Where can you see the curvature? You know why it's called a horizon? Because it's horizontal. Dun, dun, dun. You guys think I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist, and you think that during the sunset, you're actually watching the sun sit still and falling backwards 1,000 miles per hour and just makes the sun look like it's moving while it's actually sitting still. Oh, I'm the conspiracy theorist. You don't even know what you believe. You just saw cartoons and believe stories. I get it, but it's time to wake up.
Oh, do you have any stickers?
No, I don't. Sorry, bro. I would love to throw you some on the board, though. Yeah, they lied. It's no big deal. Don't make this weird. So anyway, since you guys are coincidence theorists, that's the only coincidences we can figure out here. To be a 33rd degree Freemason, you have to know the Earth is flat. That's what the symbol stands for. It's a G, geometria, measurement of Earth. That's why it has a square and a compass. That's how you measure a flat Earth. To be a 33rd degree Mason, you also have to know you're a Luciferian. The idea of collective enlightenment. The sun's the embodiment of enlightenment, which is why they're sun worshippers. You can't make it to the 33rd degree without knowing this. So anyway, if you've heard of Lucifer, then maybe you've heard the number 666. Let's see how many times coincidentally 666 pops up in this model, since I'm such a conspiracy theorist. The diameter of the moon is 2,160 miles. That's 6 times 6 times 60. The average distance of the moon from the Earth is 6 times 60 times 666. The North and South Arctic circles are at 66.6 degree latitudes. The curvature rate of the Earth is supposedly 0.666 feet per mile squared. All just a coincidence. We're supposedly on a 66.6 degree tilted axis going around the sun 66,600 miles per hour using gravity, which the number is 6.66, or on the Earth there are 666 newtons. And guess what year Newton discovered gravity? 1666. These are all coincidences. Mercury is 666, the sun from Mercury is 666 times brighter than on the Earth. Just a coincidence. A selenilian eclipse, which debunks the globe Earth because it has the sun and moon above the Earth during the eclipse, was first recorded in 1666. And by the way, I'm probably in the United States, I get a bunch of hecklers because people are uncomfortable and it's easier just to call me names or whatever. No one can ever answer any questions though. So if the lunar eclipse is because the Earth blocks the light from the sun and casts a shadow onto the moon, this is like 3rd grade, everyone should know. The globe Earth says that during a lunar eclipse, the Earth blocks the light from the sun and it casts a shadow onto the moon. Then how come there's something called the selenilian eclipse where the sun and the moon are both above the Earth during the eclipse? How's that work? How's the Earth blocking the light from the sun if the sun's above the Earth? Guess what it's also known as? The impossible eclipse. Guess who calls it that? NASA. Dun, dun, dun. It's a geometric impossibility, and it happens on a regular cycle, and it was first recorded in 1666. Did you know NASA admits they can't use the heliocentric model to even predict eclipses? They use something called the Saros cycle, which comes from the Chaldeans from 2500 BC, a geocentric flat Earth civilization. So NASA's so advanced, they've been to space, they can't predict eclipses yet. They still need the flat earthers. Take it up with them, that's on their own website. Did you know they can't even mathematically propose the supposed universe yet? The theory of relativity, which is the current theory of gravity, proposed by Einstein, general relativity in 1915, which was built upon special relativity in 1905, which attributed constant speed to light. It says that gravity is the effect of the bending and warping of space and time. When you apply this to the universe, it's off by 95%. It's called dark matter and dark energy. They can't even mathematically make it work yet. They can't even propose it. You ever heard of the Hubble telescope? It was named after Edwin Hubble. Edwin Hubble, one of the most famous quote-unquote scientists with the heliocentric model. Guess what he said? It can never be disproven that the Earth is the center of everything because of equal dispersal in all directions. But we must avoid this supposition at all costs and try to prove the opposite because it shows the Earth would be in a favored location. That's real scientific. All the evidence proves that it's in the center of everything. It can never be disproven. We must completely ignore it and try to desperately explain that it's actually spinning around the sun. This is one of the most famous people on the globe Earth side ever. And yeah, we supposedly went to the moon in 1969 because a Nazi took us there. You guys have Stockholm Syndrome. Do you know what that is? is when someone is taken captive and it gets to such a point where they have a psychological reaction where they actually defend their oppressors. That's what you guys do. The same people that gave you curfews and lockdowns and told you you're not allowed to breathe the air. You go around defending the people taking away your freedoms and attacking the person standing up for it. Welcome to Stockholm Syndrome. We get to watch it and witness it live every day. It's actually really sad. So supposedly, the Nazis were so bad that we had to take them out. That's why we brought them over here to work with our government in Operation Paperclip, declassified, 1945. 1946, Operation High Jump. The U.S. military went and explored the Antarctic region with someone by the name of Admiral Byrd, well-decorated admiral for the U.S. military. He came back on national TV and said, "It's astonishing to me there's an area as big as the continental U.S. on the other side of Antarctica that no one knows about and remains unexplored." He came up dead 3 years later, as did his son, mysteriously found murdered in a warehouse. 1957 is when he died. 1958, guess what happened? They founded NASA. Guess what happened the next year, 1959? They signed the Antarctic Treaty, longest lasting peace treaty in modern history, not up for review till 2042. Every major world superpower has agreed to it. You know, China and Russia and America are such enemies, they're in a peace treaty. And it says it's illegal for all of us as the general public to privately and freely explore Antarctica. Do you know what would prove the Earth's a ball? Going over Antarctica and popping back up on the other side. It's called circumnavigation. Never been done in the history of mankind. Illegal to even try to do it. Have you ever even heard of the Antarctic Treaty? Much less read it? Have you read Operation High Jump or Operation Paperclip? 1959, signed the Antarctic Treaty. 1961, JFK came out and said, we're going to be the first country to go to the moon. 1962, Operation Fishbowl, part of Operation Dominique, which means of the Lord, so it's literally Operation Fishbowl of the Lord. This is 1962. The year after, he came out and said, we're going to go to the moon. They started shooting missiles up, and they started exploding at high altitudes relative to their location. They effectively mapped out the firmament. There are dozens of declassified documents from the U.S. military saying that the Earth's a flat, non-rotating surface with a firmament. They're probably just trolling you with documents heavily censored that you've never read. That's how you know I'm dumb. That was 1962. What's up with that? Then in 1968, a world-famous movie came out. It was called Space Odyssey. It won Film of the Year. It was about a moon landing. So they propagandized everyone to believe that you could land on the moon in 1968 with the Film of the Year. And then in 1969, we supposedly landed on the moon. Funny thing about that is one of the guys that was supposed to go to the moon in the NASA crew, we came out in 68 and said, there's no way we're going to the moon. We can't even get to low Earth orbit. We can't even communicate in our own building. He then hung a limit on the module to signify that it wouldn't work. Guess what happened to this guy? He exploded in a routine checking of wires on NASA's facilities while the door was mysteriously sealed from the inside where it can't be opened, and they filled it with so much oxygen he effectively burned to life instantaneously. Nothing sketchy here. Everyone that spoke out against it died. That's how you know they're not hiding anything. And the crazy part is no one knows any of this. They've effectively drawn a circle around you called the 60th South latitude. No one knows it exists, much less do they know that they're in a slave pen. Every major world country has agreed that you can't go there. That's not weird. How come the U.S. military has dozens of declassified documents that say the Earth is flat? How come they say whenever they design military fighter jets that they have to assume the Earth's a flat, non-rotating surface? How come whenever they spend billions of dollars to design ballistic missiles, they say that the Earth is flat and that's how they actually find the bad guys and triangulate their position? How come they use Cartesian coordinates assuming the Earth is flat? How come there's something called electromagnetic propagation over a flat Earth on .mil, a government website from the military, saying that when they created ground weapon systems, they had to assume the Earth was flat and a dielectric plane so that it would actually be able to hit the enemies with the ground weapon systems? How come there's something called the railgun that puts you over 100 miles and doesn't account for any curvature? What's up with this? Does anyone know how to test this? Has anyone ever researched this? Does anyone know anything other than cartoons? Did you know NASA admits that we don't have real pictures, they're just cartoons? The infamous blue marble picture of the Earth from space everyone thinks is real, the default wallpaper on the iPhone, this is verbatim, damn near verbatim, from the NASA website. Well, it's not actually a real picture. Its high-altitude picture sits together on a flat map surface. We then wrap it around a theoretical sphere. We bring an artist in to do an artist rendition to match what the observer expects it to look like. The artist's name is Robert Simmons. He's quoted on NASA.gov's own website as saying, of course it's photoshopped. It has to be. Oh, I'm so crazy that in the 21st century, getting $60 million a day, they still can't go out there and take a real picture of the Earth from space, but we did it in 1969.
You know how fucking stupid you sound right now?
Oh, I sound stupid?
Yeah, you're fucking retarded.
That's all we ever get is I'm retarded.
You are retarded.
Hey, hypothetically, if someone has a genius IQ and you call them names, does their IQ go out the window?
That's their what?
Does their IQ go out the window?
Speak without that. I can't hear you.
If someone has a genius IQ and you call them names, do they become dumb?
No.
Of course not.
But you're still fucking stupid.
That's all you get. It's uninformed people getting triggered. Did you know that NASA hey, do you think it's weird we've never been back to the moon?
No, I don't.
You don't think it's weird?
Your government agreed. Why we've never been back to the moon?
Oh, they said the reason we haven't been back is because they destroyed the technology and they haven't figured out how to rebuild it yet.
Shit.
Okay. Do you think we actually went to the moon?
That other rich guy made rockets.
Do you think we actually went to the moon?
Yes, we did.
So you think the government lies because of greed, and then you think they told the truth in '69 with Nazis? Angel, do you know Nazis took us there?
I do. You know his name? His name is Werner von Braun.
Werner von Braun is German. You don't pronounce the W.
Von Braun.
Werner von Braun.
Yeah, the rocket worked
It's
perfectly.
Van Braun, I
Just
think,
landed on the wrong planet.
What?
The rocket worked perfectly. Just landed on the wrong planet. When he fired his first rocket, that's what he said.
Did you know what he put on his tombstone?
No.
Psalms 19:1, it says the firmament over top of the earth shows the handiwork of the Creator, which means you can't leave the earth. The firmament, strong as bronze, protects the earth. Why did he put that on his
Why do
tombstone?
you think the Earth is flat?
Because I measured the surface, you can prove it. It has to curve at 8 inches per mile square. It's called geometry. With a radius of 3959, you see the curvature of the Earth at 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. I'm so stupid. So 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. If you're 1 foot off the surface of the Earth, what's the square root of 1?
I don't fucking know.
1. It's 1. What's 1 times 1.225?
Flat.
It's 1.225. So if I'm 1 foot off the surface of the Earth, where should I see the curvature of the Earth?
Argument out the window. You said curve on a flat surface.
I'm saying you test for the curve. I'm sorry you're lost.
Wrong.
So if the Earth's a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles, you're being live streamed, dude. You look dumb.
Stupid. You're retarded. And you're retarded too.
I have a 360 camera, my man. So you're on it. Anyway. Okay. Just keep calling me names. It makes all the facts go out the window. I debate aerospace engineers, but this guy on his bike calling me dumb. It makes me want to shut it down.
Why don't you go get a real job?
I have a real job. I own a business. Actually, like 3 of them.
A real job.
Okay. Thank you for your advice, too. Talk to you later. Yeah, we're gonna go to the game. We're gonna go to the game. Here's the conclusion. I know it sounds crazy, but you gotta look into it. If you're honest and open-minded and intelligent, you shouldn't be scared of the crazy flat earther saying something that you know is not true. You should be able to research it. Go look up 200 proofs the Earth's not a spinning ball by Eric Dubay. Go watch it. Prove to yourself you know the Earth's not a ball, or that the Earth's a ball. Or just keep on believing everything the government said. Keep believing government stories from the 60s with Nazis. Keep believing they're keeping you safe with curfews and lockdowns. Be a good slave. And then see where it gets you in about 10 years when children grow up in a slave state where they can't breathe freely and they can't go out of the house past 10 o'clock. And you gotta scan your QR code to go eat.
To answer the question.
Stockholm Syndrome.
What are the questions, bud?
Okay, yeah. How many times does the Earth spin every 24 hours? According to them. To the official narrative, yeah. That we were all taught.
How many times?
Yeah. Once, that's correct. How far away is the sun? 93 million miles away. Are you trolling me? Are you like secretly a flat earther? You are a flat earther. I knew it. I'm like, only flat earthers know the answers. You almost got. You even tried to act like you didn't know.
I love it, dude. I knew you guys were going to come out here as I saw you up on the West Coast.
Yeah.
He's going to come to Reno.
What's up, homie?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Keep doing what you're doing, man.
For sure. I went around the whole U.S. and none of the Glovers know any of the answers. Someone comes up and gets them right immediately. I'm like, you must be a flat earther.
1,038 miles per hour, dude. 38,000 miles per hour.
There you go. Yeah. In case you guys don't know, I offer everyone in the U.S. $100 if they can get 3 basic questions about the globe Earth right. And no one in the whole United States knows it. They just call me stupid.
I love that shit. You guys fucking...
You should know what you believe in if you know I'm crazy for not believing in it, right? That's like saying that the Bible's real. I just haven't read it yet.
What 3 questions you got?
You want to go to the game?
Nobody wants them. Nobody wants
No one wants them because they're afraid of getting embarrassed. Yeah.
They know less about the globe, man.
It's okay. Most of us didn't know it either, right? Like we had to research it.
Right.
Yeah.
I tried to debunk it, honestly.
All you gotta do is try to debunk flat Earth, and then you're
I was
done.
told to debunk.
Go prove the Earth's the globe. You're done.
Man, I win, dude.
Anyway, it's about whether or not you're open-minded enough.
Holy smokes, no.
I was talking to an astrophysics professor the other day. He works on the Himawari satellite. I asked him, how do you have a pressurized system adjacent to a near-perfect vacuum with 10 to the negative 17 torque? The second law of thermodynamics dictates pressure will seek equilibrium spontaneously, finding its equilibrium.
I like it, guys, dude.
And he said, gravity. And I said, okay, if we presuppose and reify the postulation of the theory of relativity that gravity is the effect of the bending and warping of space-time, we ignore the fact that you attribute physical properties to conceptual abstractions, one of which is a privation, which is emptiness or nothingness, and we just give you gravity times 1,000. Gravity is the strongest closest to the center of mass and at the surface, whereas the strongest, it doesn't stop gas from going in all directions, omnidirectional dispersal instantaneously, including up, directly opposite of down. Gravity supposedly has a singular vector of down relative to the center of mass. So if it doesn't stop it where it's the strongest, how does it stop it next to a vacuum where it's weaker? Crickets from the astrophysics professor. So when random people come and tell me names, it doesn't really mean much. I'm trying to help you guys. They're lying to you. So whenever you see the sun and the moon look like they're the same size, guess what? They're the same size. Not coincidentally, the diameter of the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, but exactly 400 times further away also, so they look like they're the same size. And whenever you see the sunset, actually it's sitting still. You're just falling backwards 1,000 miles per hour, and it makes the sun look like it's moving. Whenever you see stars in the sky, actually most of those aren't even there anymore. You just still see them every year. And whenever you see the stars reset for all recorded history, doing perfect concentric circles around Polaris, the North Pole star, directly over the North Pole, actually it just looks like that because they're trillions and trillions of light years away or whatever. Or maybe they're just doing exactly what they're doing. And when you see the stars move in the sky, actually, they're sitting still and you're spinning 1,000 miles per hour. You just can't feel it, so it makes the sky look like it moves. There's no scientific experiment in the history of mankind to prove that the Earth is spinning. Does anyone here feel like the Earth's spinning? Because if you do, you need to chill on the tequila, homie. And then you lay down to get the spin, you gotta throw your feet on the ground to stop spinning because the Earth doesn't move. How can I float a drone right here for 24 hours? It stays in the same place. How do these hot air balloons work on a globe Earth that's spinning 1,000 miles per hour? Doesn't. Dun, dun, dun. How come pilots are trained assuming a flat non-rotating surface in the target generation facility and then negate the quote-unquote gravity vector? How come all of the planes that the military's ever designed assume there's a flat non-rotating surface? Even the rockets that they shoot that I document and that they just go in parabolic trajectory and fall back down over the water? Why does the military say the Earth's flat? Why does the military say that there's a firmament over top of the Earth? This is weird. This is weird. Just look it up yourself. Electromagnetic propagation over a flat Earth and see who it is that published that document. It's the military. Just look up any type of aerospace engineering in the world. So here's what it comes down to. Here's our conclusion because we're about to go over here to the game when they come out. There's not a lot of people here. I know it sounds crazy. I thought it was crazy. I'm like, how could people possibly be this dumb? We've been to space. We got pictures of the Earth. Oh my gosh, this guy's a psychopath. I thought the same thing. I expect you to think the same thing. I actually encourage you not to blind believe in me because you hear me, because that's what got us in this mess. You need to go test it yourself and not be lazy. Life's a little bit more important than TikTok or who's on the gram with a small waist, pretty face, and a big bang. Dre's about to drop that heat. It's a little bit bigger than Kanye West's fake gospel album. How many followers I got on the gram? Alright. Anyway, so if you actually go research it, you'll find out that it's clearly not nearly open as closed as you thought it was. And you're going to find out the government lied to you. And the way that you prove it is you can physically measure the curvature of the Earth or lack thereof. The Earth has to curve if it's a sphere, basic geometry. It doesn't, provably. The radius value they told us is wrong. The radius is the distance from the center to the edge of a circle or a sphere. It's supposedly 3,959 miles. So look it up yourself. What curvature rate is that? It's 7.98 inches per mile squared to 1,000 miles. 1.225 times the square root of the surface height in feet is where you see the curvature. Based on the radius value of 3,959 miles. I don't expect that to stick with you. My point is, that's the globe Earth math. Just go test it. Stop blindly defending the government, believing in curfews, and obeying what they tell you to wear. It's getting ridiculous. I'm actually embarrassed for people. It's been 18 months. You haven't figured it out yet. They're just building a new world order. And they're going to come out with a digital tracking system. Yeah, it is. Much slow. Some people know what's up. So anyway, here's the conclusion because we're gonna go truth bomb the game over here. If the radius value is wrong, which it is, that's what you need to do. Go see if you can prove the radius value. Very simple. Very simple. If the radius value is wrong, the entire model is wrong. It has to be right. There is no, oh, the Earth might be a little bigger, but still a ball. Doesn't work. We know distances on the Earth. They depend on the radius value. If the radius value is wrong, the whole model's wrong because we can measure the distances on the Earth. We know them. Day and night cycle requires the radius value. The entire model. Well, every time they supposedly went to space, you need a radius of the Earth to get a radius of orbit of the craft that flies around to attain gravitational orbit and attain escape velocity. If the radius is wrong, every story about space is wrong, which of course it already is because they claim to go to a medium that can't happen and it defies the second law of thermodynamics. So anyway, there you go. Test the radius. Gravity supposedly uses that number. People are like, you don't believe in gravity? They drop something. You drop something, it was more dense than the surrounding air. If I let go of a helium balloon, what does it do? It goes up. Is Is it gravity proof? No. It's lighter than the surrounding air. Helium is less dense than the surrounding air. It went up, it found its equilibrium. And if you want to get actually really hyper specific, everything's electric, specifically electrostatic. All molecular and intermolecular attractive forces are electrostatic in nature. Everything that exists is electrostatic. Rubber, glass, your shoes, that concrete, everything that exists. Electrostatics is known to be 10 to the 39th power stronger than gravity even claims to be. That's 39 zeros. If you can't isolate it, how could you find a much weaker quote-unquote force that isn't a force but you can think of like a force? Never been proven. That's why it's called the theory of relativity. It'll never be proven. It isn't real.
Hey Austin, can I catch a picture with you, dude?
Yeah, of course.
Dude, I saw you on YouTube, man. I just happened to put it on here like a live stream. I was like, oh shit, dude, he's right there, dude. That's awesome. Yeah. My wife's in the baseball game too. Really? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice love.
Cars, you know, pass them out.
Nice love, brother. Thanks for coming out.
Brother. Hey, nice to meet you, dude.
Stand up for the truth to the end.
Absolutely.
All right, so anyway, here's the conclusion. They lied. They went and explored Antarctica. They came back and said, you slaves can't go there. It's called the Antarctic Treaty. You could shut me up real quick, just circumnavigate the earth. It's illegal to even try it. Someone has tried it, and they were arrested without due process. That's how you know they're not hiding anything. So stand up for your rights and go find out what the truth is. The overall conclusion here is the reason we're traveling the United States. I've been kicked off Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, PayPal, Venmo. I don't even cuss. I just say they lied about the earth. Tell me why the government's censoring me so hard. Do you guys support the government coming out in Congress and admitting they censor flat earth because it's dangerous misinformation? Do you guys agree with them censoring me if I read a medical journal? You think it's crazy that I can't have a literal doctor on my show to guest because they'll kick it off? They'll kick us off YouTube. I can't have a doctor come on and give his expert opinion about what's going on. They'll delete the video and terminate my channel. So we've went around the United States because they're ramping it up. There is no go back to normal, this is the new normal. No, there's nothing normal about being scared of what keeps you alive. It's called oxygen. So wake up. Not medical advice, because YouTube is psychopathic. So anyway, that's the conclusion. Let's stand up for our children. You are free. Let's make sure that they're free. They don't inherit a slave state. They don't have curfews. They don't have lockdowns. They don't have wardrobe requirements from the government. That's what prisons have. We're not a prison. We have the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, the right to peaceably assemble, and to redress grievances from the government. And the Second Amendment, to bear arms, protects all the rest of them. If we lose them, we lose everything. Stand up for your rights. They lied about the earth. Don't make this weird. The earth is flat. Don't make it weird. Okay? It's called the Antarctic Treaty. Research these things. 200 proofs the Earth's not a globe. Look up Jeranism. Look up Globe Busters, like Ghostbusters. It's like Globe Busters. You can look up WitsitGetsIt on YouTube. WITSIT gets it. That's my channel. But just look up the truth, man. Go to Flat Earth in your app store. It'll show you a flat Earth, and you can go to the question mark and it'll answer all your questions. And if you do it for 2 weeks, and then you can get a Globe Earth proof, you win 2 Bitcoins. So anyone that can take the Flat Earth challenge, get the app. It's $2.99 because a ton of trolls went and spammed the 1 star. We had to charge money. That's my friend Dave Weiss. If you watch every video, every morning they upload a new video on the app. If you watch it for 2 weeks, they're usually really short. And then after 2 weeks, you think you can prove the Earth's a globe. If you send it to the owner of the app, and you can prove the Earth's a globe, he'll give you 2 Bitcoins. So there you go. Put your money where your mouth is. And all you gotta do is put up $3. He's the one putting his money where his mouth is. In a world, no one knows what the world is. All right, there you go. Stand up for your rights where you don't have them anymore. Don't attack the people trying to defend your rights. It's called Stockholm Syndrome, okay? There is no right versus left. Every U.S. president was related and tracks back to English royalty. There is no black or white. I don't change color throughout the summer. We're the human race. We have different color skin. Get over it. Stop making this weird. It's called divide and conquer. If we come together, we can win. Oh, also, the creator's real. The Earth's geocentric center of everything means it had to be created. Religion sucks. The scriptures were messed with, but they're real. They're just super messed with. They took books out. They added books. They changed the translations. It's a whole ordeal. Don't got to go to church. Nothing like that. You just need to humble yourself. Talk to the creator. He won't leave you hanging. And that's the truth. You have a spirit. You're very powerful. You didn't come from apes. Lightning didn't struck primordial soup. And then rocks turned into fish. They were like, man, this water's whack. And they grew some feet. Then turned into rodents. Then turned into apes. Then turned into humans. They were like, I want to be smarter and lose this hair. That's dumb. Your ancestor's not a rat. That's ridiculous. Science can explain intuition or memories. You have literally light in your body. You have a spirit. You're very powerful. You can manifest things. Don't let them take away your power. Peace out.
Come on, brother. Hey, we're gonna go to the game. So it's like right over there. We're just gonna take you guys with us.
Tahoe, I got one of your shirts. What's up, man? The fire's on our street right now.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I just came from Vegas. I can't even get to Tahoe.
That sucks. Did you get any of your stuff out?
No.
Check them out.
Fuck my friend fucking sitting here. Fuck. I just flew today though. So
What is that?
Oh, dude, everything is going up. I don't know how they're allowing them. I think they want to revamp all of Tahoe.
Oh, yeah.
Personally, that's the only thing I can come up with.
That's what they're doing. They're bringing in people from fucking other countries to work in it.
Yeah, they easily can fucking shoot. They can have.
What's up, Chad? I'm gonna chat with you guys.
Slave labor, bro. They don't want the locals.
I know all the old houses and shit are eyesores.
Yeah, that's what they
That's what I completely stopped from every day.
Yeah.
And here they are letting it burn. You know, like.
And that brings good soil and being fertile.
Wait, what's wrong with the extending better equipment? What's wrong with it?
Years old, bro.
The audio's horrible.
About 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's
Does it
crazy.
sound bad here too?
Those houses are about the same.
No, sounds good. You guys all flat earthers too?
I have no idea yet because I haven't done my research, but I heard it today and I hear all the other things you said, and I wanted to come over and say thank you for fucking standing up and speaking some truth to people. You know, like
Check out Eric Dubé. He's my favorite.
I heard his name and his speaker.
Yeah,
QR code take you to a lot.
yeah, because you gotta like go through. I mean, I've been like, I never like, I got ridiculed, but my language is trying not to swear.
She's a worse thing.
But I mean, I never thought I'd be like.
When will you be in Vegas? We'll be in Vegas in like a couple of days. Like 3 days, like Friday or Thursday, Friday, something like that. Do I know where we'll be? We're gonna hit the strip. I think you have me on Facebook, bro. I'll try and do an update stream about where we're gonna go on Facebook. And try to keep you updated on here. But yeah, we're gonna hit the strip, maybe around the fountains. And then I'm gonna hit the Monday night football season, NFL season opener Raiders game in Vegas.
96 million miles away.
So we're gonna move to the ball game.
94 million miles away?
93.
96.
How are the schematics? What is our square? How is our? Because all the other planets
It's an
are
infinite
round.
plane.
It's an infinite plane to where though?
But like, check it out. If you don't, it's like what I'm
Well,
kind
I'm gonna go check it out.
Eric
'Cause
Dubé I was watching some shit on him, and it's like kind of like our buoyancy is like what level we're on. So we're all 70% water. So we're all at this like, you know, we're right there when we're floating. If we breathe in, we can kind of sink a little bit in the water. We're floating, and then like you go up and down, kind of just like those levels obviously do it. Like I don't know what up above that because whatever floats is
like an Avatar thing where the realms are kind of like floating in flat realms, but they're all.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
can't
like,
get outside Antarctic, so there's no way to really know what's out there. The planets are just lights in the sky, bro. I document them all the time. They're just like the stars. They're just a little
They're
closer.
burned out. It's still coming.
They're not solid that you can land out of that.
Yeah, I know that.
They just move over top of us, and the Earth is the bottom where all the lights are.
Most of them are
yeah,
gone.
there's
just
like,
lights still coming.
or there's
That's what
like
they say.
water reflecting, like light reflecting.
We gotta go.
It's all hearsay.
What's
Can I
up?
close this?
Like if you're into like
No,
spirituality like that,
You hold this, I'll hold everything else.
Like,
Like,
well,
ask about
like
it.
I don't know if like you.
Sorry, the camera might be kind of bad for a second.
You kind of like. Say
I gotta
when you
keep the
pass on,
iPad in my
you're
hand.
usually like you go to different like you'd be lighter, right? So you go up.
I'm gonna say bye to the
I'm
homie.
assuming if you got some bad stuff on your shoulder,
He's a
that's
pretty
heavy
little
on you, you
puppy.
might
He's
start going
just
down.
a bitty.
That's a good. I've never
I
heard
don't
it
know.
like that. That's a good way to put it.
I don't know, man. It's a trip.
It's a trip. It's a lot of info. You know, it's like it takes a second to digest
It's like
it.
yeah, it brought me to believe in the creator.
It's gonna get crazy, but dude, check out that QR code. There's an app on there.
Most important thing I always told everybody is just become tight with your creator. You know, it's on my Facebook. The only thing fucking on my Facebook page that I'd never go on is get tight with your creator and know shit or something.
What's up?
Yeah, nice.
Have a good one.
Yeah, much love, brother.
Peace, dude.
You guys.
Yeah, dude, they're pumping us with all kinds of lives from like 5 up, bro.
Totally.
Yeah.
Here's a lie. Does any not a lie? Do you guys? We're from Tahoe. Everything we got evacuated.
Burning?
All that shit.
Yeah, they might be setting that up.
Because I'm whatever I have that shit attracting my life. Do you guys do anything funky dunky?
We're traveling the U.S.
Not in shit like you do shit.
Oh no.
Okay,
No.
good. Keep your minds energized, all that stuff. Peace, love, and happiness.
Much
dude.
love, brother.
Thank you for your effort.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Check it out. Sorry guys, I'm trying to keep the camera decent. We're moving locations. We are moving. I gotta keep the iPad open because I don't know if it'll end the stream. We're at 65% of the battery. We're straight. You know, people get so triggered. It's gonna be worse here. Look at that giant. Look at that giant ball. That's how you know the Earth's a globe. They wouldn't build that for no reason. So one way. I know it's kind of a shaky cam, guys. You gotta work with me. Dude, I have a Dare shirt on. Dude's asking me if I do drugs. But some people think it's like sarcastic. You know, like you wear the Dare sarcastically. No, it was just like a $6 shirt at TJ Maxx and I just needed a shirt. So this minor league baseball team, guys, is actually in first place, like 59-40, AAA. So you got single A, double A, triple A. So this is like the highest level before the major leagues. 59-40, first place. So there should be a decent amount of people here. We'll have to figure out the best public area. I'd say we go right here. I mean, we can't go in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? I guess we can go on that sidewalk, yeah. Yo, they messed up, bro. There's a public sidewalk all the way up to it. Y'all gonna learn today. I can't remember what it was. It was like they were coming back. They were down 3-1. I think it's like 4-3 or something. The Reno Aces. We're almost there, ladies and gentlemen. Almost there. This is where it's gonna get exciting. I just wanted to get that shot with the Reno arc, and you know, no one's outside the game right now, so.
on the 7th.
Bad signal, full bars, bro. Full bars. What we're gonna do. There's the 7-inning stretch. So see, the weak point can